Today we're going to look at 8 reasons not to upgrade to Windows 11. In other words, 8 reasons to stay on Windows 10. So let's jump straight in. Number 1. Windows 10's features. Windows 10 already has many great features, such as direct storage, where games will load faster and run more smoothly, Auto HDR to automatically make games look better, and very good game support. It has Android phone use, where you can connect an Android phone to a Windows 10 PC, then send and receive text messages from the computer, make and receive phone calls from the computer, manage notifications, share photos, and in some cases you can even run the phone's apps too. Very good speech to text, where you simply speak and whatever you say will be written for you instead of having to type it out yourself. Windows 10 has many small useful features too, such as a timer, alarm, stopwatch and a world clock. It also has a narrator that will read out any text that appears on screen in quite a natural voice.
You can use my voice while interacting and reading text with narrator.
It has virtual desktops, a good start menu, news and weather reports, a good search function, useful apps pre-installed, a dark mode and much more. So Windows 10 has many good features. Windows 11 does have all of this and more, but some people are happy enough with Windows 10 as it's already a very good operating system. Number 2. Windows 10 is very stable. Windows 10 has been out since July 2015, so it's very mature and works very well. Windows 11, on the other hand, has only been out since October 2021, so it isn't as mature. To be fair to Windows 11, it has had many updates since it was launched, and a major update for Windows 11 has just been released, called 22H2. So Windows 11 is much more stable than it was when it first came out, and the major bugs have all been sorted out now, so most people will find Windows 11 very stable. But it's hard to beat the several years of maturity that Windows 10 has to offer. Number 3. Windows 10's familiarity. Many people have used Windows 10 for several years now and have already learned where everything is. But in Windows 11, some of the things are in a slightly different place, which can throw people off a little when looking for something that they often use. There are a few differences to get used to, such as the Start button. On Windows 10, the Start button has always been in the left bottom corner of the screen and has been there for many years. But in Windows 11, it's in the middle. If you're anything like me, if you switch over to Windows 11, you'll find yourself automatically going over to the bottom left corner to use the Start button, only to find the news and weather appearing on the screen instead. This will likely happen to you about 100 times until you finally get used to the Start button being in the middle. There are other small changes too. For example, when I right-click on a file or folder, the context menu is a little different. So if I now want to copy this file, I would click on the copy icon. But in Windows 10, I would right-click a file or folder, then click on the word copy instead. It doesn't take very long to learn Windows 11. Many things are actually in the same place as Windows 10, such as File Explorer being on the taskbar. But as just shown, there are some differences. So if you prefer the familiarity of Windows 10, then you might just want to stay on Windows 10 for a while longer. Number 4. Windows 11's higher requirements. The system requirements for Windows 11 are a little higher than the requirements for Windows 10. For example, Windows 11 requires a dual-core CPU that runs at 1 GHz, while Windows 10 requires a single-core CPU running at 1 GHz. And Windows 11 requires 4 GB of memory, while Windows 10 requires 1 to 2 GB. Many modern computers can easily meet the Windows 11 system requirements, but the problem for some of the older PCs is the need for the computer to have a TPM 2.0 chip to run Windows 11. If your computer is old, it's very unlikely to have a TPM 2.0 chip. If you want to see if your computer can meet the Windows 11 system requirements, click in the search box and type PC Health Check. Then click on PC Health Check. As you can see, this computer does not meet the Windows 11 system requirements as the CPU is not supported, and this computer has no TPM 2.0 chip. Some of the older computers like this one simply will not run Windows 11. In fact, if your computer was built in 2016 or earlier, your PC is very unlikely to be supported by Windows 11. So many people are left to decide whether to buy a new computer or to simply stay on Windows 10. Number 5. The taskbar position. In Windows 10, the taskbar can be moved to any side of the screen. This can be done by right-clicking it and making sure there's no tick next to Lock the taskbar. If there is a tick, click on it to unlock it. Now it can be moved to any edge of the screen. Some people really like being able to do this. But in Windows 11, it cannot be moved, as there is no way to unlock the taskbar. This may or may not change with future updates of Windows 11, but for now the taskbar is staying at the bottom of the screen. Number 6. Combined taskbar icons. Windows 11 will combine certain icons on the taskbar. For example, I have an open folder and 2 text documents open but minimized. The folder can be clicked on and shown quickly and easily. But the 2 text documents are combined into one icon as shown here. So to open one of them, I have to go to the icon, then click on the one that I want to open. So it's an extra step to open a combined window. But in Windows 10, I can right-click the taskbar and select Taskbar Settings. Then under Combined Taskbar Buttons, choose Never. Now each window open has its own icon, so now I can quickly show whichever window I want by simply clicking on it. So having open windows that are not combined on the taskbar in Windows 10 makes selecting any window a little quicker. Some people don't mind icons on the taskbar being combined in Windows 11, but some people don't like this at all. Maybe the option to have separate icons on the taskbar will come about in the future for Windows 11, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Number 7. Games can be slower. When Windows 11 first came about, there were some games that would run at about 30% slower on Windows 11 compared to how well they ran on Windows 10. But that problem seems to be fixed now, with some games actually running a few percent faster on Windows 11. But there are some games that run a few percent slower on Windows 11. So let's suppose you have a game that you're currently playing on Windows 10. You then update to Windows 11 and you get any of the Windows updates that are available, and you make sure that your graphics card driver is up to date. At this point, the chances of your game running at about the same frames per second on Windows 11 as it did on Windows 10 is extremely high. It's very likely that you'll notice no difference playing games on Windows 10 or Windows 11. But obviously this is not 100% guaranteed, so if you don't want to risk it, then you might just want to stay on Windows 10. And finally, number 8. Windows 10 is still alive and well. Windows 10 is supported until the 14th of October 2025, so there's still another 3 years before its support runs out. So if you want to stay on Windows 10 for now, there's certainly no rush to change. So that was 8 reasons to not upgrade to Windows 11. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching. See you next time.